What's up, Mudmen? This is Steven, Josh, and Ben with another episode of Ontology. We're covering Artemis Fowl, the movie, the blockbuster success. You've seen it, you love it, or maybe not. But this is a special roast edition because honestly, no one liked this movie, right? Ben, Josh,
You know
you guys
what?
loved it?
I have been sitting and waiting to reveal my opinion about this. I've been silently waiting, so I will remain
Did you
silent for a little bit
secretly
longer.
liked it?
I'm going to remain
Oh
silent
my
a
gosh,
little bit longer.
if you had a positive opinion, this podcast is about to get pretty entertaining.
Okay. Here, I'll maybe take away Ben's hot take a little bit. I thought it was better than how a lot of people thought it was, until I was talking with my wife about it, and I was like, for a kids movie, it wasn't bad. And they started thinking about all the kids movies, the movies that were made from kids properties that I actually liked. And the two that came to mind were the recent Golden Compass TV series and the recent series of Unfortunate Events Netflix series.
Yeah.
Both of those took properties that were initially geared towards the same type audience that Artemis Fowl was, and leaned into a little bit darker, grittier aspect of it without making it just like a straight up, like polluting the property by making it way too adult. And so I was going to come in with a hot take, but then I thought about those two right before coming in to record, and I was like, no, I can't even justify the hot take.
And compare it to a Disney property like Onward, for example. Onward was a great kids movie. It had a beginning, middle, end. It was awesome. It kept you captivated the entire time. Kind of leaned into the fantasy elements. It was awesome in every way, right? And gosh, Artemis Fowl was bad.
Okay, let's hear your rant, Steven. I know you're ready for it. I mean, should we do like a typical plot walkthrough, or is there not enough of a plot for you to walk through?
Nope. I have some notes of special super bad points that I'd like to hit, but we're not doing the plot walkthrough. We're not subjecting people to that. If you want the plot walkthrough, I mean, listen to our first review of the book and then combine it with some of the second book, and I guess you have the plot. So here's how I'm going to describe the first book. So it was directed by the guy who played Gilderoy Lockhart in Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. I think his name is Kenneth Branagh, something like that. Anyway, basically, this movie it's like if you need a forgetfulness charm or something from Gilderoy Lockhart, here it is, bottled up in a movie. Watch the movie. You're not going to remember any of it, or you will because it was so bad. Either way, it has like some serious problem. It seriously has affected my capacity to remember things. It's affected the hippocampus part of my brain. That's how bad it was. So thank you, Professor Lockhart.
Listen,
Wow.
I don't think it was that bad, guys. I mean, come on, listen. Think about like Spy Kids. That's the movie I was comparing it to, okay? This is a movie that's geared towards a 10-year-old boy audience, and they're going to eat it up, okay? This is a movie that was put out during quarantine that kids could put on for their kids that are running around, and they're going to love it.
How does that make it a good movie? Just because it was put out during quarantine?
I think it makes it a good movie because it was appealing to the audience that appealing to. Look, you guys are making it play a game that it was never intending to play. Okay, you want plot? It wasn't playing a plot game. Okay,
but the book has a good plot.
Dialogue.
A good version of this movie exists in the book. The plot from the book was good, and it appealed to that audience. So the fact that they cobbled this together into a movie made it so bad.
So here's the question, Steven. Was this movie, and I seriously am wondering this, was this movie targeting our age group that grew up reading the books, or was this movie targeting the current 10-year-olds that like they hope are going to read the books?
Definitely.
I don't know, but is there a difference? Is there a difference between us when we were 10 and the current 10-year-olds? Like, We
Well,
still
no,
kind of like
because
the same type of things.
well, yeah, but for us, I mean, you think about the entire most media is geared towards our age group, like 18 to like 34 or something is like what almost all movies are made for. Like think about the entire MCU. They took an
Okay.
entire properties that we grew up watching as cartoons and then like expertly made it into like the biggest blockbuster franchise of all time because of our age group. You know, so we're being catered to right now for like the next couple of years and for the last 10 years or so. And so I don't know if this movie was made for us. It was made for, like Ben was saying, it was made for a 10-year-old kid now. That's, you know.
And maybe they haven't read the books. And if you haven't read the book, I think that one thing that this movie did, it captured the feeling of the books pretty well. Like having just read the first book for the first time, like
Steven's face, I want a
like,
screen grab.
listen,
How
I
the feeling
felt-
of the book is the total opposite feeling that you get from watching this movie.
No way.
Okay, I'm
You
okay
get
with
to
departure
explore-
from the book material, but no, gosh, the feeling of the book is completely different than the movie. In the book, Artemis kidnaps Holly, holds her for ransom for his personal gain. He's an actual criminal mastermind. In the movie, he becomes friends with these people within minutes of the kidnapping.
Okay.
And then at the end has this stupid line where he says, I'm Artemis Fowl and I'm a criminal mastermind. What crimes have you masterminded, Artemis?
So in terms of the friendship with Holly, like I was kind of watching this throughout the day on Saturday because I couldn't justify sitting down for an hour and a half while, you know, like to watch it. So I kind of just had it on in snippets. and so I was like, wait, did I like just leave it playing while I like was doing something else? Did I just like forget to hit pause? And then I rewound because I'm like, now that suddenly they're like friends. And then I like went back. I'm like, no, I just watched all this. They just like, he had her in
It
a
made
cage.
zero sense. It made
And
zero sense.
I think that they're supposed to bond over the fact that both of them had missing fathers. And then
yeah.
because of that, now they could trust each other.
Yeah, exactly. Meaningful dialogue.
So this is a
And plus,
Batman
there's
versus
this whole-
Superman. We're bonding over our mothers. No, it was even worse than that.
Okay, here's the thing though. Again, you're making it play a game that it's not trying to play. Okay, this is just put yourself in the place of a 10-year-old who's watching an epic battle take place with fairies and trolls and this 10-year-old that looks like them, that is from Ireland and can surf. Like, it's entertaining, man. It's, you know, it's not supposed to be anything other than
So
just
just
mindless entertainment for a 10-year-old.
So, okay, I'm fine with saying, yeah, the movie was mindless entertainment for a 10-year-old. If that's what you're going for in a movie, watch this movie. But I feel
the
like,
standard right now.
well, that's a really low bar, because don't you think when they
It
make
is.
these movies, they want it to appeal to more than just a mindless 10-year-old?
Well,
I
hold
don't
on.
know, man.
If this,
What-
okay,
there's-
wait, hold on.
there's
If
movies that, okay,
if this were to be put on Disney Channel, like the actual proper Disney Channel on cable, like this would be a great movie sitting on Disney Channel. If you go watch like The Descendants or stuff like that, that's geared towards like 8 to 10-year-olds, like those movies are actually like garbage, right? Like no offense to Descendants fans out there, but like, so this is at least a step up from that. And so if Disney had launched it on Disney Channel instead of Disney Plus, then like nobody would be complaining about it.
They pushed it so hard too. I think in the weeks up to the release, I was getting retargeting ads on Goodreads and all kinds of platforms about Artemis Fowl. Everyone and their dog on the internet was telling me to watch Artemis Fowl through Disney ads. So how much money do they spend on this thing? Holy
It doesn't
cow.
matter if the movie was good or not, because if you have a Disney Plus subscription, then they win, right? Like, so if you get the Disney Plus subscription for a month from this movie because of this movie, then they've now like succeeded, right? Which is kind of a
Man,
cynical way of looking
listen,
at it.
yeah, I mean, that's what they're going for. And honestly, I honestly think we need a 10-year-old to sit down and watch this movie and tell us if they liked it or not. Because like, are we suddenly holding like the Lizzie McGuire movies or something? Like, that's what this movie is compared to, in my opinion. Like, they go to Paris and have fun, and there's nothing to it, and whatever. Like, that's just how this movie is.
Ben, when was the last time you watched the Lizzie McGuire movie?
I don't know, man. Because I'm probably mixing that up with Mary Kate and Ashley movie or something. What's another movie like I don't know. What are some of those?
I think
old
Spy
Disney-
Kids was a good comparison.
Spy
Yeah,
Kids
Spy
is a
Kids.
good comparison. I don't know about Mary Kate and Ashley. And Spy Kids
Well,
was
it's the male
good.
equivalent.
Well, wait, Steven, if you went back,
That's what you think.
That's
Yeah. Yeah, let's go back and watch Spy Kids and see how you like it.
That's fair, but also was Spy Kids marketed this big? I mean, did it come out in theaters?
Yeah, I
You
guess
know?
so. I don't think
It might have.
I think I actually remember seeing it in theaters. Okay.
So okay,
Yes.
I can understand. Okay, so you're saying sure it's good for a 10-year-old. Maybe that's what they're marketing. But
But wait,
Disney,
Spy
I mean-
Kids was actually a theatrically released movie.
okay.
So yeah.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't go back and watch Spy Kids now. But I feel like I guess my main beef is sure, maybe it was targeted for 10-year-olds and maybe 10-year-olds like it. I don't know. I don't even know if that's true or not. But why did they have to go for 10-year-olds at the expense of other audiences? I feel like you can make a movie that people of all ages enjoy in their Pixar movies. They produce content that people of all ages enjoy that have, messages for everyone. And
That's true.
why can
Kinda
we not
like
have the same thing here?
Jumanji is a good example. Yeah.
Well,
I mean, you're right. Like, yeah, they could have. And the fact that they like sabotaged a book doing this kind of sucks.
Yeah, and do you want me to break down all the ways that this movie was terrible?
So now that
Let's
we've had
hear
our
it.
funny
You need
conversation,
your
let's
time in
just
the
get
sun.
into
Yeah.
roasting. Yeah, let's just get into roasting it because we know that's why everyone's here is to hear us roast this movie.
Okay, so question to start off the roast. At what point did you realize it was awful? Maybe, Ben, you don't answer this question.
The minute that I saw him surfing, I knew it was awful. And the minute I heard him talk with that weird accent, I knew it was awful.
What was up with the surfing?
I don't know. Look, my wife and I went on a vacation to Ireland like 2 years ago. And not once did I see anybody surfing. And we went during the summer. And not once did I hear anybody talk with anything resembling the accent that anybody used in that movie. And the thing is I think Colin Farrell is Irish.
Yeah, I honestly didn't have a problem with the accent, but if you're saying it's a problem, I'm totally on board.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just like, okay.
Wait,
Yeah, the
can I just-
surfing
before we start
is
the roast-
dumb.
Before we start the roast, can I just say I think the best character from this was Mulch Diggums. I honestly think
Yeah.
that was a standout character. They nailed him, I think.
So yeah, Mulch is good. Mulch is good in the book franchise as well. And Josh Gad did a good job portraying him. I thought the part where he was giving all the exposition and he was chained up, I thought that was a little cringy. But
Yeah.
when he was actually on
Yeah.
screen doing stuff, I was down for some Mulch Diggums for sure.
Yeah.
He was
So that
funny.
part
I
was
laughed at some of his lines.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there are definitely some funny ones in there.
Okay,
The
so
part
we
with
got
him and the part with him and the goblins I thought was good. And that was a scene directly from the books. So I liked it. I mean, sure, I'm biased towards the books, but I'm also down for retellings in different mediums. I don't want to come across as saying you have to follow the books. But a lot of the decisions they made were bad, such as
Segue.
where to begin? So, the villain was Opal Kobai. What do you guys know about the villain?
0.
Nothing. Wow. Yeah, cool villain. We don't know anything about her or him. We don't even know who they are. Like, why are they capturing Artemis Senior? Just because we want the thing, the Oculus, Arculus, whatever it's called.
Well,
I don't
hold
care
on.
what it's called because it's ridiculous.
They want
It's a
to
MacGuffin.
enslave humanity. They want to enslave humanity because humanity has oppressed fairies
Using the power of the thing. Yeah. Okay. Sure. There's
using
some
the power
reason.
of the thing. Yeah.
Using
Yeah,
the
there's
power
a
of the thing.
reason. Okay.
was a textbook MacGuffin. Like there is no bigger MacGuffin in any movie that I've ever seen than this.
Oh gosh, it was so bad because like how did Holly know how to use it? First of all, she said the magic spell, which was actually that's lifted from the book. That was the text of the sacred book of the fairy people that she says, like the carry me always, carry me well thing. So yeah, that's cool. But how does she know what it's gonna do? And then they like open the portal and they grab Artemis, right? Like that doesn't make any sense. No, I'm not buying that.
Okay, fair. That's a fair criticism.
Also,
Continue.
it was hidden inside the safe, inside the manor the whole time. So what exactly am I to make of this plan here? Artemis is trying to get the Aculus, and in order to do so, he needs Mulch there because Mulch, the dwarf, is going to break into the safe. So Artemis both knows
Using
and
his hair.
doesn't know where that's a real thing.
Oh, is it?
That's a real
I'm
thing
like,
from the book.
instead
Yeah.
of using his digging capabilities, he's going to use his hair. Okay, fair
It's
enough.
it's slightly different, but it's a real thing. So that was cool. But I don't understand. So he doesn't know where it is, but at the same time, his whole plan is to lure Mulch in so Mulch will find it for him and break into the safe. Couldn't he have just figured out how to break into the safe on his own?
Well, wasn't there something about in the first book, and I haven't read the books recently, but didn't he need to like cut off a thumb or something to get into a door?
That's
In the
third
books?
book.
That's third book?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not in this. This book is a mashup of the first and second books. So Artemis
Okay.
Fowl Sr. doesn't appear in the first book at all, but he's kidnapped in the second book. He's actually missing entirely in the first book. And then he's revealed to have been kidnapped in the second book, and Artemis goes and saves him. And in the second book is kind of when he becomes friends with the fairies a little bit. In the first book, they're totally at odds. There's no talk of friendship. Holly does cast like a healing spell on his manor to help his mother who has dementia or something like that. But he pays her for that. So there's definitely not this cooperation that you see come out of nowhere that you get in the movie.
Well, Holly also
The
heals his
other-
butler.
Yeah, Holly does heal Butler in the book, but she does that because Butler's cool in the book. She recognizes his coolness. He is not cool in the movie. Butler is 0% cool in the movie, which was terrible because they butchered his character. He's so cool in the books. He does zero cool things in the movie.
You know who else does absolutely zero anything? Is Butler's niece or whatever that they brought
Yeah,
in.
Juliet. She's supposed to be
Juliet.
his younger sister, but yeah. Why
Okay.
is she in the movie?
What did she do? She had like 3 lines and brought him a sandwich.
Yeah, sandwich girl.
Like, what? Yeah, that's another thing
she
where I'm
has-
like, I must have skipped a scene.
She has a point in the book, and she actually grows to be a bigger character in later books. So I don't know. Are they planning on doing a movie franchise? Gosh, I hope not. But if they are, maybe she was supposed to become a bigger character. Anyway, back to Butler. In the book, Butler dons medieval armor and takes on the troll with medieval weaponry. It's a way cool scene. And he takes out the troll single-handedly, but like dies or almost dies as a result because he gets gored. And Holly comes and saves him because they've kind of been working together to take out the troll. He does nothing cool at all. And one of the cooler scenes as well was when he takes out the LEP recon squad, but Artemis is like helping him do it. Like, what? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I mean, and clearly, and also they destabilize the time shield, which is kind of weird because there's no reason for them to do that. Like, it just ended up making more problems for them than they needed.
Yeah, what was the point of the time freeze? There's a really good plot in the book where the time freeze is put into place. It's something the fairies always do in order to protect their identities. And yeah, they say the same reasons in the movie. But the whole thing in the book was they also have this thing called the biobomb that will rinse out and kill every living thing. And so they contain it inside a time field. And in the book, Artemis and co escape the time field by forcibly falling asleep. And that also prevents them from being killed by the biobomb. So these different like fairy technologies work out, and Artemis actually outsmarts them. But in the book, first of all, they didn't have the biobomb at all because maybe that was too adult to think that we're actually killing or kidnapping. But the time thing also doesn't make any sense. There's no point to it in the movie.
Well, it was so
Yeah.
that he couldn't get a signal out to broadcast their existence. That was the point of it in the movie.
Yeah.
He was like, if you try and
Yeah.
come in here, I'll broadcast it out. And then they're like, well, you can't. And he's like, well, I just have to last 28 more minutes.
Or he has
And you
to
know
be
how
like,
he says,
you can't come in here until I die.
Yeah. So didn't that sound
Yeah.
really ominous? Where he says no fairy can enter while I'm still living, and Root like looks over, is like, "Oh, well, you're living, right?" Didn't that sound like it'd be something important?
They didn't even
It
make
was
an
in the
attempt.
book.
Yeah. So that's super important in the book because they realize, oh, it's a loophole. Artemis made a mistake. He said that we couldn't enter, because that's another thing the movie didn't explain. Fairies can't enter somewhere unless they're specifically invited in. Maybe
Well, I
it
think
kind
that
of
was heavily
explained by-
implied.
Implied, sure, it implied it. But the idea was, in the book, they say, oh my gosh, we can get in because he implicitly invited us in by saying you can't enter when I'm alive, so you can when I'm dead. So that's why they choose to do the biobomb. And it all really falls into Artemis's plan. Great plot. Not at all executed in the movie. They just do away with it.
They have
Yeah.
like winks at it, but no real action taken. It's
Yeah,
like
they
if
just
you've read
make
the
some
book, you'll
overtures.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, it's kind of
let's-
Easter eggs if you read the book.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
let's get into some other things. First of all, you choose to film in Ireland, and then you only have like one set the entire movie in Ireland. Like
Yeah.
that's like one of the most beautiful places in the world. And the backgrounds were like CGI. It was so weird. Like you look at the background of the house, and like I don't even know if it was an actual place. It just looked like it was all CGI background. I'm like, are you kidding me? And then
I mean, to be fair, they did have the other shot outside Terra when they capture Holly. So,
Yeah.
but that was at night. You couldn't really see anything.
yeah.
And the story takes place at the
I
Fowl
know,
Manor.
but
It's
if
a
you're gonna-
siege movie.
if you're going to be like playing up the Ireland thing, like when they talk about the Book of Kells, they could have been like zooming in on like forgetting the place's name, but it's really pretty, like they could have done some things like that to make it actually feel like a little bit more authentic, because that was like a big part of the movie,
Yeah.
And speaking of CGI, okay, it was all terrible, like all the VFX in the movie.
The underground, the fairy
Yeah.
realm.
The fairy
Yeah.
realm, even Josh
It's
Gad,
like it was 10 years outdated.
even Josh Gad pulling his mouth open, like that looks so bad.
Yeah. I didn't think the troll looked very good either.
No. It was like they realized halfway through all the VFX stuff that they were just going to put this out on Disney Plus, and they just like stopped doing things to make it look better. That's the feeling I got, honestly.
Speaking of characters, which characters did so we liked Mulch, and Butler we thought could have been good, but they just didn't do anything with him. Juliet, pointless. Artemis was so meh for me. Holly was good. I thought Holly was pretty well done. Like that was her character, and that was one of the brighter spots for me. But Root and Foley were terrible. They had no
I didn't like
chemistry
Root.
at all.
I kind of liked Root.
Root, no. Root was supposed to be like angry and just like curmudgeonly or whatever that word is. Just, always upset. First of all, I mean, I'm fine with them changing genders, but Root's supposed to be a male fairy. But I mean, I would have been fine if Root was a girl in the movie, but she wasn't angry ever. Like she was always just kind of like,
she was angry the whole time. I'll have your badge for this, and
but not in the right
Don't be
ways. I never actually
discouraged.
believed she was mad. I believe she was acting like she was mad, but she wasn't really mad.
I don't know. Isn't she a pretty famous actress?
Yeah, Judi
forget-
Judi Dench. Have you heard that joke that Judi Dench's agent must hate her right now?
Yeah, because she was in Cats too.
She was in Cats.
Yeah.
Now this.
So
Yeah,
I didn't like. I mean, Root was. I guess she was okay, but
Yeah,
it just didn't.
she was like Artemis for
it was
me.
not
Like,
inspired.
yeah, it was kind of like very average.
I thought the child actors did an okay job. I didn't hate any of the performances from the child actors. And
It's
The
Artemis.
child actors just Artemis and Juliet.
And what's her face? That was in a few scenes. His Butler's niece.
Yeah, Juliet, Artemis and Juliet.
Yeah.
Oh, and then then the fairy.
Holly.
Was Holly a child actor?
Holly.
She seemed
Yeah.
like she was older.
No way, man. She looked like she was like probably. I'll look it up.
I mean,
I'm guessing she's like
I never know when I see an
18
actress.
to 20.
Well, how old would you say Artemis
It
is?
was
No, she was
Artemis-
not 18 to 20. Well, wait.
Artemis, I'm guessing, is like 14.
So Laura
Okay, let's get
McDonald.
How's the school going, Josh?
Where is her?
Bob the Skull researching away.
Okay, Steven,
Steve?
any more standout while Josh is researching this? Any more standout things do you want to tell us?
Yeah, can I just say one more time that Foley was bad? There was no character chemistry. Root and Foley have a great relationship. They're back and forth, joking around. There was nothing like that. Foley was just like frantically trying to get his time shield in place the whole time. Lame.
So she was born 7th November 2003 in Dublin, Ireland. So that would put her at how
Yeah,
old?
so she's 16.
16?
16 and a half.
Okay.
Yeah. What about
Basically
Artemis?
18, so I was right.
16. I bet Artemis is 16 as well.
Lends some credence to my Artemis Holly romance crackpot theory that got shot down
there's
in
going to
the
be
book review.
a few people on Discord that disagree with this. Speaking of which, shout out to Discord. If you really love this movie, or if you think that we did not dislike it enough, then let us know on Discord.
Yeah, I guess we just went right into the hot movie takes. We didn't do our typical intro.
Yeah.
But yeah, check us out on Discord. Let us know if you like the movie. I really doubt you did, though, unless you're Ben.
Again.
Okay, to be fair,
a solid B performance for the game I was trying to play. What,
so
Josh?
Stephen, there is in fact he is confirmed to be an Artemis Fowl 2. But
Ooh.
Oh my gosh.
I think that, but to push back on the ages a little bit, I think that most of the shooting was done a few years ago for this movie. So I think that they were around like, so he's 15. And he was born in Dublin, Ireland too. Maybe I'm just wrong about these accents, but I did not think that they sounded like an Irish accent, but both of them were born in Dublin. So it's weird.
I work with Irish people. I hear them pretty often, and I didn't pick up on the accents, so I think we can give the accents a pass.
All right, you go dub that, edit that out.
Josh's
for
hot
me.
take is officially.
All right, that's the conclusion of my hot takes about the movie. I've ranted enough about all my problems with the movie.
Okay, so real fast, can we go around and do a best of the worst?
Yeah. Actually, yeah, and I just want to put this out there. Interestingly enough, the filming wrapped and entered post-production in June 2018. So that was 2 years ago now that it wrapped. And why has it taken so long to put it out? There's probably
I think
stories.
it got pushed back a couple things. Yeah, I'm sure there's some movie politics.
Yeah.
Also, they had 2 years to come up with those special effects.
So, but to be fair, she was born in what, 2003? So she was only like 15 when they filmed this. 14 or 15.
I guess I've seen so many high school, quote unquote, dramas where the actors are really 20 somethings that I assume everyone's older than they look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
if you're watching Outer Banks, these are not Outer Banks child actors.
Yeah, also, if you're a big fan of One Tree Hill like I am, they're actually older than high school.
Oh, wow. Okay, guys.
Okay, wait. So let's do best of the worst.
Worst of the best.
Yeah.
No,
this one's best of the worst because
Right.
because it's all bad. So now we're finding the one good part. Best of the worst is going to be, for me, Mulch Jigums, I really enjoyed him. I thought Josh Gad did really well. I thought he stayed pretty true to his book character. So, my best of the worst.
My best of the worst was budget. They like tried to do so much with this movie, and some of it like looked really good. But I don't know what this budget was. I would guess like over $100 million. And like the best, and this is the best they could come up with. It blows my mind. So, and in some shots, like things look really cool, but in other ways, it's just like, how did that happen?
Okay.
Maybe renovations to the house that they destroyed cost a lot of money.
All right, Steven, can you muster one up here?
It was $125 million. Where did
Whoa!
What
oh my
happened?
gosh!
What happened to $125 million to produce this movie?
Something must have gone on here.
Think
The
about
real
that.
Artemis Fowl came in and stole a bunch of money from him.
Yeah. Somebody is a criminal mastermind involved with making this movie.
I think my best of the worst is just all of the overtures to the book that were there enough to know that they knew what the book was, but also enough to know that they didn't know how to turn it into a good movie in of itself. I don't know, like all these lines, the especially the worst for me was the "I'm Artemis Fowl and I'm a criminal mastermind" at the end of the book. At the end of the movie, that was so bad. Oh my gosh.
Steve,
Also,
how mad were you when you said that?
Oh gosh, it was so bad.
Like
At that point, I had checked out. I mean, I knew that it was bad. I knew it was going to be bad going into it.
Also,
I really wasn't expecting that.
Was that like
if you have
is that like when you're watching BYU lose a football game and they throw one more interception at the very end and you're like, well, that sucks.
Yeah, like any team losing, not specific to BYU. BYU wins football games a lot of the time.
So, Stephen did not appreciate that shade. The other question I have is, if you have $125 million, why do you get sunglasses that look like they were bought at the dollar store for Artemis Fowl?
Oh, I forgot to mention the sunglasses thing. Yeah, that was so stupid because the whole thing is they have to wear the sunglasses. So the mesmer, the fairy magic, they can't, mesmerize them. That's really basic in kidnapping a fairy. You can't let them see your eyes. And within 2 interactions with the fairy we've kidnapped, we're taking off our sunglasses to build trust with the fairy. Like, why in the world would Holly not mesmerize him right away? She's just been kidnapped by this kid. And it's a human enemy. Like, are you kidding me? That makes no sense.
She was convinced by his losing his father that he was actually a good person. I don't know, man. I told you, I thought I missed a scene between that. That's like the part where I'm like, I must have missed something.
That was one of the worst things.
Are we convinced that like fairies have strong bones? Because Butler took her out when she was well above the tree line, and she fell the whole way down. So
probably like a fly falling.
Me,
they can fall a long way and no harm done.
She reaches maximum velocity.
She's also got. I mean, they've got those suits on. Fairy technology is really cool. So they've got those suits on that probably absorb contact, whatever. Yeah. I also thought the end was terrible. The end, when they go pick everyone up, they pick up the gang in the helicopter, and they're off to their next adventure. Now they're all friends. What? That was stupid.
All right. Well, this has been fun. I've enjoyed
who the real victim of this is? The therapist who got told that his chair was a fake. I feel so bad for that dude.
That was the only scene in the movie that I thought that Artemis was actually intelligent.
That was lifted straight from the book material. I liked that. I like that scene.
That was when you still had high hopes for the movie.
No, I knew going in with the Rotten Tomatoes rating of 11% and everyone saying it was terrible that it wasn't going to be any good. But I also knew I had to watch it because I loved the book so much. So I don't know. I wasn't really as angry as I made it seem in this podcast. But
just more quietly disappointed.
Yeah. Yeah. Once again, the light in my eyes is dying in this as well as it is in Waiting for Doors of Stone to come out.
Hey, you know what? For every Artemis Fowl, it seems like we're getting a series of unfortunate events adaptation or a Golden Compass adaptation that's like actually turning out good. So you know what? If there's some swings and misses, I'm fine with that.
As long as it's not a swing and miss in anything I care too much about. If we're swinging and missing on Wheel of Time, ooh, that'd be rough.
Yeah, this is a big warning to Wheel of Time right now.
Yeah, don't go the way of
All right.
Artemis Fowl. All right, thanks for
Because
listening
I'm sure
to this
there's
rant.
a huge crossover there. Yep, we've gone 8 minutes
The
over
crossovers.
our intended time.
All right, hopefully you got something out of that roast. This has been fun. Usually we try to stay more positive, so it's fun to just totally trash sometimes. If you like Phantology, check us out at www.phantologybooks.com, on social media at PhantologyBooks, join Discord, check us out on Patreon. We are literally everywhere these days, insanely popular, so check out Phantology. Ben, Josh, thanks guys. See you next time.
Thanks, Steven.
See you, Steven. Oh man, too funny.